All right. Welcome, everyone. It's RyFry and Taylor Worre.
What's up?
We're coming back at you live from Studio B at LifeVantage headquarters. And it's an exciting time. We're going to continue to do these little segments that I feel are very influential and very beneficial as far as adding value. Taylor, you got a great wealth of knowledge with regards to, your experience, your background, how you've really played in this industry over a period of many years, both on the corporate side and distributor side.
Yeah.
And so we're always doing that one thing with Taylor, right? And today I just want to talk about some things that seem to keep coming up in this industry.
Yeah.
Now, granted, our industry is all walks of life, right? Pretty much 18 till grave.
Yeah.
We have people. So it's been interesting. There's always this competition between old school, belly to belly, network marketing. You can never beat it. And this new generation, new technology coming into the industry. What's your take?
Well, what I believe, I think that there's room for both, number one.
Yeah.
Number one, I think that for the first 20 years of my life being surrounded by this profession, it was all belly to belly. When I started building a business, I barely had a cell phone. We still had phones attached to the walls. We still had paper apps that we were faxing into the corporate office to put into our back office. And that's how I built a business at 18, 19. And then Facebook became a real big thing. And, before that there was MySpace, but people didn't really utilize that for business that much. And even when Facebook came out, it took 3 years before, it was still it was a college toy for a couple of years. College students could only get access to it. And then, but I think that this old school belly to belly, I think that's where the core of our business comes into place, is that true relationship building. I think that the internet has opened up doors for you to be able to get your opportunity or your service or your product in front of 100 times more people than you could have ever done belly to belly. And that's what's great about the internet, is the ability for us to build international and worldwide businesses from our homes, from this laptop, from, be able to do Zoom, Skype, stuff like that with people all over the world. Opens up your ability to build a really great business. But I think it's kind of like politics a little bit. You've got extremes on both ends. You've got people in our profession like Jeff Roberti and Tom Chenault, and these guys that have made tens is some, Roberti made $100 million in commissionable earnings in his career, all belly to belly. He doesn't even have a Facebook page.
It's incredible.
And so this is a man that just did it consistent skills over every day over a long period of time, and now is just living in that top 1%. But then you've got people like, Tara Wilson and Rachel Jackson. You've got people like Angel Fletcher and, Whitney Husband, some great leaders out there, tops of their companies that have built organizations strictly on social media. Everything has come from social media for them. And so it's like Republicans, Democrats. You've got extremes on both sides, but I think where the majority of us will fit in, the majority of people, it's a sad fact, but the majority of people in network marketing never make a single dollar. And so I think the majority of people need to find that middle ground, that moderate space, where you can blend a little bit of the new school and a little bit of the old school together, and you can really still apply some of the real life applicable skills that make network marketing. Go pro the 7 steps. It's very basic 7 steps. I think that the internet has just allowed you to do that on such a bigger scale. And so it's great for you to be able to get out there, but ultimately relationships happen face to face. They happen when you get to spend time together and hear about each other's lives and do the things that matter.
That can never be replaced.
No, I don't think
we know that. And I find it. There was an interesting mentor of mine that he kind of gave me a really good perspective. He said technology, or this new generation way, allows a field leader like myself with LifeVantage to build his business at the speed of thought, but I can still maintain these personal relationships of belly to belly and some of those old school traditional ways that have really stood the test of time. Even if you go back and back and back, generation of generation ancestors, we built those strong relationships based on experiences with each other. And whether it's a high school buddy, a college friend, or the group of friends, football, we're doing little league, we're doing dancing, all of these neighborhood friends, those things never, ever, ever change. But there seems to be this resistance from old and new, where the challenge is like you said, if we can blend those, the speed of your business will absolutely explode. And the biggest thing you just mentioned, Taylor, that I find very interesting and that I've kind of been focused on is the international reach.
Yeah.
That is
huge.
incredible.
It's huge. And I think that, honestly, I think that the growth curve for old school is a lot shorter than the growth curve for the new school. And I say that because people flock to Facebook, and because they know how to post, they think that they get it. They think that they figured it out.
Yeah.
To be able to build organizations like some of these leaders have, with 100,000 plus people in your downline via social media, that's a very unique skill set. It's it takes time to build up that. It's a lot of plan, do, review, as my father would say. It's a lot of just trying things out and building up. And that's why there's trainers out there that pay as much as they do, because they've spent the last 5 to 7 years plan, do, reviewing. They put their money in where their mouth is. They put the money into the ads and tried things out to see what works and what doesn't, so that they can then teach you, how to go do it. And so I think that it's a little bit longer growth curve on the social media side, even though it's more appealing and it seems easier. I think to perfect the online method is a lot more of a serious growth curve. I think the face-to-face, I think when you genuinely care about someone, a lot of the steps just fall into place when it comes to face-to-face.
Right.
Like we said in earlier videos, when you trade your expectations for appreciations, when you just go out there and you truly want to bless people with your product or your service, I mean, every time I get into an Uber, I almost always have a contact of someone that says, okay, you need to reach out to me because I want to buy some Pro Tandem.
Crazy story.
Yeah.
You want to hear it?
Yep.
I fly home from Europe 2 weeks ago. I get an Uber home, and no kidding, I start talking to this guy. He's a vegetarian, very health conscious and so forth. And he says, wait a minute, LifeVantage. He's like, I picked up someone from LifeVantage, and what was his name? He says, Taylor. I was like, Taylor Worre? And he's like, that's who I picked up the week before. No joke. That was 2 weeks ago.
That is awesome. So that guy, I remember that guy. Yeah, we reached out. We exchanged contact information. And for me, I don't get any benefit from signing up. I'm not a distributor. I'm on the corporate side. For me, it's just is exciting to talk about this every day, to talk about biohacking with what we're doing for the body. As soon as I see, a need, because I'm a question asker, I ask a lot of questions in my day-to-day when I'm talking to people and getting to know people. And the second I see that little window where what we have could benefit their life, it's game on. It's not even like I do it out of there's no personal, again, benefit for me. It's strictly just out of the ability to bless someone else's life. And I think that when we can all adopt that mentality, the old school becomes very, very simplistic to understand.
So I think you just answered my question. I was going to ask, what's the easiest way, or what's easy about old school networking? And I think it's just emotion to emotion. When someone really gravitates to their product and to the company that they represent, obviously us being LifeVantage, when you become passionate about that product, it's very simple to do old school. But let me ask you. A lot of people,
the hard part is a lot of people get that mixed up.
Yes.
Because they get excited, and a lot of people get led into this business with improper expectations. And when you get led in with improper expectations, you're immediately off to the wrong, you're off to the wrong race, really.
Yeah.
You're running the wrong race, because it's all about, someone who brought you in said it, you can make $5,000 in your first 60 days. I can teach you how to make all this money. And your first thought is money. And your first thought is, how do I get to this financial dollar amount? And again, if we can create incomes of $500 to $1,000 a month in 6 to 12 months, that just are residual leveraged incomes,
we're winning.
We're winning. That's Absolutely. A beautiful, beautiful thing. And so I think that people just need to understand that this is a profession like anything else. There's multiple ways to do it. There's multiple ways to be successful.
Right.
You look at real estate, look at everything else. There's people have found multiple ways to tap in and sell homes and do things online. Zillow, all these different things out there. A lot of great resources, but ultimately, I think what they ultimately find for the real estate agent is that face-to-face, going and walking into a home, getting that experience is always going to matter the most. And so I think that translates equally to our profession.
So based on today's conversation, I'm leaning more towards 50-50, old school, new school.
Completely. I think that
it's almost that in the middle.
It's totally that in the middle, because I think that as you become a professional as you work your way into becoming a professional on the online side, it will sway eventually more to like a 60-40, 70-30 on the internet side, because you'll realize as you get good that you can monetize your time, that you can get your message to so many more people so quickly.
Right.
But ultimately, I think that it's always going to be, but people need to realize, so many people just see people getting online and training and teaching on online systems and stuff like that. They think that they can go do the same, come in there and just become a professional. It takes time. It's a skill. It's a big learning curve, and it's always changing. That's the big thing about social media. Algorithms are always changing. Things are always changing. If you're not up to date and in the know on all that stuff, you get left behind very quickly.
Right.
There's trainers that were in a year ago that aren't training anymore, because something changed and they weren't ready for the change. They kind of got left behind. They said, we're done.
You know what it reminds me of? When gas stations went to an actual swipe debit card only, how many people got left behind in that realm? Like the old school, the older generation going, how do I even touch these buttons? How do I swipe my card? Same thing. So that's happening in our industry, and there's both beautiful things to both sides. And my challenge, obviously, to everyone that's hearing our voice would be marry the two. Get really professional on understanding the old school way, because it works traditionally throughout thousands of years. Tradition, belly to belly, works. We're not disputing that. But how do you incorporate the new school, new generation with technology where your business can run at the speed of thought? And that's a beautiful thing as well. Taylor, amazing, brother. That one thing with you is always a good thing.
No, we're going to have fun. And really, like he said, follow what he's saying, because it's so true. I think it is important to blend the two. Old school is always going to work. It's always going to be applicable in your business, and it's always going to matter. And I think a lot of that time, as you start seeing that 70-30, one thing I wanted to add on real fast, a lot of that 30% comes at events. A lot of that 30%, because a lot of your time is going to get spent in that online world as you start to perfect that world. But that's why it's so important. In future videos, we're going to talk about events, but that's why it's so important to be at all the events, because that's when you get a lot of that 30% time in, that face-to-face time with your team. It's important to have your whole team at events. Just statistically, with the amount of money that it shows that it creates in your organization, but blend them. Blend them, and you'll find a really, really great organization long term.
That one thing with Taylor, guys. I love it. Thanks, Taylor.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it.
We'll talk again.
We're doing some more series beyond this, but for today, we're going to bounce off. So thank you.
We'll see you guys.